Welcome, Anas, to the podcast. I'm great to have you here.
Hi, Kamal. Great to hear you too.
Great. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today. Maybe we can start with your background, Anas, a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm a pharmacist. I live in Lyon. I work within the pharmaceutical industry now from almost 5 weeks, and I'm a big passionate of running and all sorts of running, obviously, but mostly into road running.
Great. So you are a pharmacist. So you're pretty much looking or playing with, medicine all the time, and then you're also running. Um, how did the running journey begin for you? Was it always you're athletic and into running growing up?
Yeah, so I think as many people, it started with me wanting to lose weight.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know, I think maybe 10 years ago or more. But it was mostly for that. I was in the gym practicing and also running. And I remember at that time, I couldn't even run sometimes 45 minutes. So I had to stop each 20 minutes to walk 1, 2 minutes. And then I started progressively improving and having fun with it. So it turned out that I was spending more time in running than in the gym, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was really fun after that.
great. How is your relationship with indoor running and outdoor running? Because a lot of runners have different views.
Yeah, so for me, it's pretty straightforward. So it's 100% outdoor running. Maybe also I have the conditions because I know sometimes people live in areas. For instance, I have my brother in Dubai when it's 45 degrees. So I mean, with 70% humidity, or if it's -5, also, I don't know, in Canada or elsewhere. But here in Lyon, we have pretty nice weather, and when it's hot, I can just wake up in the morning. So I do treadmills only if I'm traveling and I don't have flat area to run around, or sometimes I did it when I was injured and I had really, I mean, big injury like fractures, and I had to get back progressively. So that was also nice too. But
Yeah,
I'm really into nature and having scenery outside.
no, same here. Like I have talked to so many runners that have similar views, right? Once you pick up outdoor runnings, it's really challenging to run indoors unless you have to. That's what I think you meant probably as well. Um, and then when did you pick up like running races?
Yeah, so I think it was 4 years after I began running. I was always running in this gray area, the same session every time, 3 times a week, 8, 10K, always the same pace. And I remember my brother runs a lot and did also competitions, and I just had this idea that maybe I will try a half marathon. I
Okay.
remember I was in an apartment, and there was a friend of my father. He was about 75 years, and he told me that he did many things, and including the Tour de France. He was
Uh-huh.
able to run the Tour de France, and he told me the only thing I regret is not having done a marathon. So this really stuck in my head, and I thought, okay, let's start with the half and see. So I did my first half uh, 4 years ago now, I think 2019. It was really uplifting. It was the most, I mean, it really transcended all the pleasure I had in running, but really within a bigger picture, sharing it with people. And I remember the same day I finished my first half, I subscribed for another half a month later in Madrid. So I told myself, you have to do it again. And from there, the journey started. I learned how to run, how to recover, how to change sessions. I was then doing it as a real sport practice rather than just repeating the same session.
Oh, nice. So you signed up immediately after your first half for the next one in Madrid. And
Ye-
along the way, you probably transitioned to marathons, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I told myself that I have to do, it was just figure in mind, three half marathons. So I get a bit experienced in races, fueling, and then I will sign up for a half. So I signed up for a local half marathon here in Lyon. It was 5 months later. And, I was just starting this idea, joking in my head, like, what if I do a marathon instead now? I wasn't ready at all mentally. I
Okay.
mean, it was still. And then it started coming back, and the idea really sank. And then I switched it to marathon. I told myself, okay, there is opportunity. You can do it now. Never know what will happen next. So changed my registration, and it was 3 months before the marathon.
Wow, that's great. So how was your first marathon and when was it?
Yeah, so actually it was awful. It was not great. I think I did all the check list of the mistake you can do in your first marathon. So my first half was in March 2019. The second one in Madrid was in April, and Lyon was in September, end of September, or beginning of October. And what I did, I took a 9-week plan. I thought would be enough.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I understood later that it's for people who came out from block preparation, but not people who start. I also get injured. I had a sprained ankle, so 10 weeks of not running right before the peak week. And I also did the other mistake of getting back as if I was running, even though it was 10 days off, and trying to get back all the sessions I didn't have. So it turned out to have a sore tibia, and it wasn't shin splint, but it was really hurting sometimes. And hopefully, I was able to run that day. I just thought I will run 10, 20 seconds slower than my predicted marathon pace. And it was really, really, I would say, challenging. And until 25K, when I unfortunately started walking, my longest run, I think, was 23K in the prep. So
Hmm.
you can see. And to make it worse, I was so focused on gels and water. So at a given point, I didn't feel well. I didn't stop drinking water. And this is also something I want to emphasize for other people because it's really dangerous, and it's more dangerous than actually dehydration. It's hyponatremia. So I thought that I was dehydrated, and I kept on drinking water, but it was quite the opposite because I was missing on salt. So I had to take salt, and instead I was drinking water, so I was diluting more salt, and it can really, I mean, in dangerous situation, it can lead to coma, or I mean, it can go pretty bad. So I remember at a given point, even I was asking someone to give me a bottle of water, I couldn't even take it from him. I asked him to put it in my hand
I
because
see. Oh
and
boy.
And then actually, I just finished the race walking and running. And I remember at the end calling my brother, telling him, and he told me, did anybody stop you from drinking? And in this split of second, I both understood what he wanted to say. And I was so, so angry, especially it was ironic because I'm a pharmacist. So
Yeah.
you see, so it was not a great experience, and that was really the starting of the journey of for me of running. I took a coach, and I say now it's time to get serious. I thought that it's not smart to waste all this time, to spend all this time training, maybe not the wrong way, and also to take risk on your health.
No, that makes sense. And then when did you realize that you should have been taking more than water during the running? Is it immediately after? Because you are a
It
pharmacist. Yeah.
it was just when I was discussing with with my brother when he told me, did anybody stop you from drinking? And in the meantime, I was thinking like, why he's telling me that? And then in 1 second split, I said, oh my God, how stupid was I? I mean, it's the three most important element: glucose, water, and salt. You have
Hmm.
only to focus on these three, and I totally missed out on salt, and I was worsening the situation by drinking more water. And you can have cells diluted in the brain, and it can really get bad. So hopefully I didn't get into it, but just from a scientific perspective, it's really more dangerous to get hyponatremia than being dehydrated. So, but I felt really awful about it because that's what missed the end of the race. I would say from the 33K until the end. Hopefully it got better from 36, 37, but I was walking. I remember at a given point straight, I couldn't do anything.
Hmm. Glad that you got a coach after that. And once you got a coach, you continued running. Along the way, you decided that, hey, I'll be running this six worlds major.
Yeah,
The world majors you start to chase. When did that happen?
it happened immediately, I would say, because I got a spot in Tokyo. And for me, uh, I was really disappointed of how I managed my first marathon, and it was kind of revenge. I told myself, now you have to get serious. You have to work seriously and really to make it right, if I can say, and have a good experience. So I really trained better, smarter. I had a coach, and it was very fine. Unfortunately, as you know, Japan was the first country
Right.
closing its border. It was the first big event closing. So, I was eager for this kind of personal revenge. And then 2 days before my flight and 10 days before race, when I was tapering, race canceled.
I see.
So I canceled my flight. I registered for a marathon in Barcelona in 15 March. It was at that time when we thought COVID would just last 2 weeks, which was canceled. And I registered for another marathon in April in Vienna, which was obviously canceled. And then I was really waiting for this opportunity. I registered for another marathon in still August 2020 in Reykjavik, which was canceled. It's still in the taper, so 10 days before.
Uh-huh.
And I got injured after it, and it was really frustrating at this point.
So this is 2020. I think you're talking about, right?
Sorry?
It is 2020, probably
Yeah,
the
yeah,
year
yeah,
that you registered for. Yeah, I remember
yeah.
same thing. I registered for Tokyo in March of 2020, booked all the tickets and all training going on, and then I think, yeah, I started to hear the news coming up, and then I saw they were canceling it, end up canceling all the tickets. Yeah, so that didn't happen for you, and then so when do you end up running the next big or the world major first?
Yeah, so I did several attempts still for 2020, 21, and every time it was canceled. So I didn't focus. I just focused on my training. And then tried I tried for the second time to register in Berlin, and I was picked up in 2021. So I got my bib, very happy. And
Nice.
2021 was very good from training perspective. I did a training block, which until today was the best block I ever had. It was really amazing. I mean, even for the long run, I was in the zone, hitting my paces, and really enjoying it. And so I went there very happy, couldn't wait to run.
Mm.
And it turned really south. So I still, until today, I don't know what happened, but I started running conservatively, slower than my marathon pace. And then at 10K, didn't feel great, legs were heavy, although I was running 30 seconds slower than my marathon pace. 15K, 20K was really getting worse, so I was getting slower. And I hadn't still hit my marathon pace at that point. And the same at 25, 26K, I started walking. And this was really, really frustrating given how the prep went. I even remember I had 30K plus runs in the marathon race pace. And I was wondering how come that in the block with fatigue legs, I was able to run.
Uh-huh.
And now I can't even, I mean, I'm walking on 25, 25K. It's not as if I pushed it or I did anything. So it was really frustrating. But hopefully, I had support, my coach, my wife there, who told me, you can change how it will go. So unfortunately, today is not a good day, but you just can change how you perceive, how you experience the race.
Uh-huh.
So, which was totally true. So yeah, I said that's the thing I have control over. So I can still decide to enjoy it. It won't be a PB today. It won't make it up maybe for my first marathon, but it will be an enjoyable experience. And I won't drink too much water today. So yeah, so I was really enjoying it since then, smiling, cheering people also. And I remember at the end when I arrived, I still have phrases when I'm saying it, but when I arrived on the 42nd K, I had cramp popping up. And the finish in Berlin is so, I mean, it's one of the best moments I had in my life. I mean, you are just running and then you have a curve and you see a lot of people as if coming from nowhere, big noise, and then just going through the Brandenburg gate straight. It was really a magic moment and very, very emotional. So yeah, although it didn't go great from performance perspective, but it was really amazing experience.
Yeah, that the finish line experience, especially in the big runs like Berlin, it's really special. Like the support you
Yeah,
get from the crowd, your family and friends are waiting for you, and you finish the line. It's pretty. I haven't run Berlin. This would be my first Berlin, but I can imagine what you are saying. The experience would be great. And so that was in 2021.
yeah, 2021.
Oh, I see. You're wearing a 2021 T-shirt too.
Yeah, that's the finisher shirt of 2021.
Great, great. So you're running also this year, 2023. So is that be your
Yeah,
second Berlin Marathon?
yeah. Actually, this year I was maybe aiming to do Chicago or New York, uh, just to avoid maybe uh, preparation during summer. And but my wife, who also runs, but it is not fully into races, she did some half marathon, but she just want to run occasionally. So in October, she comes telling me that she wants to give it a shot to try her first marathon in Berlin. Say,
Oh,
okay,
great.
great. You will have a flat, big atmosphere, so it's great condition for a first one. And I remember hearing in a podcast that you have better odds if you register through a team rather than individual.
Hmm.
So we created a team, and you can create a team of two. So we were only two on that team, and then we just went into the lottery, and hopefully we got our pips. We were selected, and then I found myself running, not running yet, but preparing Berlin again. And I told myself, okay, now also it would be a nice opportunity to make Berlin, to make it up. with Berlin and maybe leave it now with better experience and performance too.
Oh, that's exciting. So you're running, you and your wife running as a team this Berlin. So it will be special for you then.
Yeah, for me, it will be also to get back, and it will be maybe challenging mentally because I will have just to get focused and not be impacted by how it went last time. And for her, it will be the first run. So, I mean, for both of us, it will be quite challenging, but I hope we'll make it, both of us, at the end, and that would be really great, especially in Berlin, which is a city I really loved.
Great. So just curious, since you already run Berlin, this would be your second time. And a lot of folks who are listening to this podcast is also running Berlin. Any tips or the tricks of the trade that you can share running Berlin once and getting ready to run second time?
Yes. So just a disclaimer that I ran it in 2021, and funny thing is that it was the first big race opened after COVID,
I
and
see.
Tokyo, which I registered in, was the first big race to get cancelled.
Right.
So it there was a cutoff at 25,000 people or 20,000 people, I think, and now it's 45,000 as usual. So there was less people, but still big amount. And overall, I would say it's really well organized. I mean, even in that year while we went to the expo, we still had to scan the QR code with COVID pass certificate. And so there was a lot of people there, but it went really fast. I mean, I didn't spend maybe more than 2 minutes in the line, although there were a lot of people. So very well organized at the expo, and also on race day. It's how Germans do. So I think it speaks of itself, and yeah, the city very well deserves also deserved with transportation. So no need to worry about that or being just in front of the finish or starting line. And the people also very kind, very nice, very supportive. I mean, for me, it was all positive from the beginning to the end.
Nice. That's great to hear.
So
Thanks.
just focus on the race and
Yes. So that's the main thing. Just focus on the race and everything is taken care of, very well organized. That's awesome. So I'm just curious. So you started running because you wanted to lose weight, and along the way, you said, "Oh, I need to start running more runs," and then you got into races. You did a couple of halves, got into marathons. Now you're chasing a lot of measured goals in running. What has running has given to you?
uh, for me, running really transcends in life more than just a sport. So, I mean, from a personal perspective, I learned a lot, and especially on my personal development, I would say uh, it really push you into being more organized and also learn to make priorities, but
Hmm.
make them smartly. If you see my first experience in Lyon, I focused in training and I missed it on the nutrition, and I already paid the price. So it's just having this smart approach, seeing how you look into elements and also prioritize, because you have running, you have strength training, you have stretching. You have a lot of things to improve on, but you have to make the right decision. And the most important lesson for me, and I learned it maybe the hard way in Berlin last time, which is also in running, is like life don't owe you anything, which means that it's not that you did the work or that you did something, then you have to expect automatically something in return. So I did the prep. It went great. It was awesome. I totally missed it on that day,
Hmm.
and it really, I would say, transcend in my daily life. When I try to maybe do some good, I don't expect anything on return. When I'm delivering something, I know that even though I'm kind with someone, it's not that. I mean, you don't have. It's not that people owe you, or you owe them something. Sorry. So this means that I can help someone and expect that it's not that I helped him that he automatically will help me in return. And that's also very profound also, but very important lesson of life is that keep on the hard work, but don't expect automatically. You can have it now. If not now, you will have it sooner or later, because hard work always pay off, and
Yeah.
that's why I love running.
Yeah. You mentioned about it helps you prioritizing. Can you give a little bit more, or can you share maybe an example or two? Like, how did it help you prioritize things for you?
You mean in running or
Or
in
in
personal?
general, like you say, when you start running, one of the things you got out of running is to help you prioritize different aspects or different things in your life. Like, what does it look for you?
Yeah. For instance, there was a period when I wanted to learn more about finances,
Uh-huh.
and in the meantime, also to get more in deeper, I would say, in my professional skills, and also about psychology, which is a field I'm really interested in. And so it echoes to my last preparations when I was trying to do everything in the same time,
Hmm.
but I wasn't stretching properly because I didn't have time for that. I wasn't strength training properly. I was always sore, and I didn't have enough time for running because I was also stressing all the time and doing stress session. And at this point, you have to make decision, make priorities. Know that if you take time off from running to strength, it has to be targeted, and you have to know what to expect from this session because you're paying a price. So it was exactly the same thing. I told myself, you can't focus on several things in the meantime. What's the most impactful thing now? What's the most impactful field? Which one would you need sooner? Which one might maybe wait? And then how should you split it around the month if you want to read books, listen to podcasts, and so on, because you can't learn as many things in the meantime.
Oh, great. Great. And that's a great example. How do you prioritize, especially with your training for marathon, different aspects of it?
Mm.
That's a great way of looking at it. Um, One area that I am curious, and I think I am asking most of the folks that, and I'm chatting during these podcasts sessions that I'm doing, is do you think running is a team sport, or do you have a support system that helps you that you go out and run?
Yeah, actually, that's the thing I always say I should do. Uh, for me, I mean, as I believe it, not as I experience it, running should be a group sport.
Hmm.
I mean, even when, if you remember when we were a child, we loved to run with other different children or other different friends. We don't go alone and run in the park. It's not fun.
Right.
And also, I mean, it's just social community. And I think that's also why we love racing. You saw maybe the emergence of connected races during COVID. It was helpful at that point, but it didn't emerge further because people didn't. I mean, maybe it still exists, but it's not really successful now because people look for the interaction, and that's why on race day you have people, you have the adrenaline, but the bigger thing is that you have people, you have other crowds, and you have all the runners going through the same journey. So for me, I'm still in. still falling into that trap of every time saying, but today is special, it's fartlek, I have to run in these spaces, I can't go maybe with a group if they don't run into these spaces. But I ran once with a group, and it's the Adidas running group in Lyon.
Hmm.
It went great, and I'm thinking as soon as I will finish Berlin, I will go with them on easy runs. And because for me also, if you work on your own, you will learn only from your experiences. So let's say if you have 3 4 marathons, maybe you will have to wait 2 years to learn from it. But as long as you have more people, I mean, you gain significant feedback from it. You learn a lot. And this is just from a sport perspective. We're not talking about friendship, about social interacting, but just if you are someone focusing just on the sport, you will have a lot of insight on it, and you will be pushed by other people also who will become friends when you will doubt or when it will get difficult. You say, aha, it's not me that may be not good in it, or I'm struggling. It's normal, it's part of the journey. My friends and other fellow runners are experiencing the same.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that's definitely um, a way to look at how it is a team sport or sort of a support system that you need to go out and run and chase your targets and goals. So coming back to Berlin, what are you looking forward to? I know it is a special marathon for you because you're running with your wife as a team. What you're looking forward to in Berlin?
Uh, for me, I have very good memories, so I just want to get back here, maybe with less pressure, because last time was still my second marathon, and it was still to make it up from my first.
Hmm.
And so I did have a marathon this year in Sevilla, and it went pretty good. And I
Nice.
took my revenge, if I can say. So now for me, I'm viewing things differently. I used to have big stress along the way and just focus, on the timing. Now I see it as a journey. So for me, the goal, which is not just for now, but the long-term goal, is to get under 3 hours.
Great.
And as I see it now, I'm targeting maybe 3 hour 15, 3 hour 10. And I know that now I can do it from my training block. So if it goes well, for me, it's just the cherry on the top. The race is just my reward. If it doesn't go well, it won't change anything, because I know that my fitness now improved to a 3 hour 10 marathon time. The race is just in one day, and it might be the good one, it might be the bad one. So for me, the goal is to improve my fitness. And when I will be able to run this sub 3, when I know I will have the fitness to be, let's say, 3 hour 55, then
Hmm.
I think I will have pressure because I will be close, and it will be really about time. But now I see it differently, and even the sessions, I don't see them the same as before, because when I was not hitting paces in previous prep, I was panicking and so, and now I was, no, focus on the fitness, not on the session. The session can go bad, the fitness won't go in one day. So
No, that makes sense. Well, wish you all the very best, Anas, and hope you are able to achieve your goals and the target that you are chasing for. But looks like you are prepared to whatever comes the way, but you want to enjoy the run. So wish you all the best.